up, squad? MizzyWorld here to present my quarterly review for the 2018 NFL season. Like I said in my story a few days ago, this review is really going to consist of me giving out my quarterly awards for 3 awards. That's Coach of the Year, MVP, and Defensive MVP. I'm going to break down each division, division by division. I'm going to give my power rankings for all 32 teams. I'm going to give y'all who I feel as though, like, the surprises wise, is going to be able to sustain this hot streak they're on. And I'm going to give y'all who I think is starting off slow that we thought would start faster, has the ability to turn things around. You feel what I'm saying? But let's just jump into this review, and we're going to start it off by giving y'all my awards and shit. Gang. Now, let's start off with Coach of the Year. Is it any debate right now who's going to be Coach of the Year so far through these first 4 games? Now, don't get me wrong. There is a debate. There is Andy Reid. You can say Andy Reid. But in my opinion, if you don't give it to this man that won Coach of the Year last year, Sean McVay. I mean, not give it to him, but right now, if your Coach of the Year isn't Sean McVay, and your argument isn't motherfucking Andy Reid, I don't know what fucking season you've been watching so far. You feel what I'm saying? Sean McVay's like innovation and ability to connect with his younger players and put them in position to like show their talents and show their skills is unmatched in the league. You feel what I'm saying? Just what he's done with Jared Goff and Todd Gurley from their first few years to the year and a quarter that they've had with Sean McVay so far is just astounding. You feel what I'm saying? Now, as far as MVP, is that even a debate? Patrick Mahomes is the MVP right now, man. Where's the debate at in this conversation? You could maybe say Jared Goff, maybe, but the way Patrick Mahomes been playing, he's taken a team that's already been solidified and stamped as a good team and a competitive team year in and year out and took them to the next level. Now, on to my defensive MVP, Khalil Mack. This motherfucker, man. Now, I done argued with my brothers about the Raiders not giving him his bread, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe he I ain't gonna say not that good, but not worth $140 million, but this brother, through the first 4 games, has proven he's worth every single penny so far. But of course, no, you don't get paid for the 4 games. You don't get paid for a season. You don't get paid for none of that. You feel what I'm saying? You get paid for what you do throughout the duration of your contract. But so far, Khalil Mack is a fucking home run. And this nigga right now, I ain't gonna lie, behind Mahomes and Goff, he's 3rd on my MVP list right now. So, yeah, big up. So, let's get into my biggest disappointments right now, team-wise. And as for me, like my brother being a Raiders fan when Jerry Rice went there, and of course Gruden was there, and they had Rich Gannon, they had Tim Brown, Charlie Gardner, and all of them. They had a team over there, you feel what I'm saying? So when they had that, of course I was a Raiders fan a little bit because I was always following my brother and what he was following, and he was a Raiders fan at that time. So when John Gruden took that $100 million contract and came back to the NFL, I expected him to knock it out the park. Now, like I said, it's only 4 years, and it's only 4 games in of his 10-year deal, so you can't throw everything away. But thus far, the Raiders have been a huge disappointment to me, a huge disappointment, even though they're in every game besides the game with the Rams, and the Rams just smoking everybody, so you can't even get mad at that. But I thought that offense would be a little bit more explosive. But then again, like I said, it's a 10-year process that they signed up for with John Gruden. And NFL coaches' contracts are guaranteed, so they rocking with this nigga no matter what. So hopefully my boy Chucky can turn it the fuck around. My other biggest disappointment is the Steelers, man. And it's not even about Le'Veon not being there. It's not about motherfucking Antonio Brown seeming as though he cares more about his individual stats than the team winning. It's Big Ben. He's not the same no more. The nigga name is Ben now. As small as he's been coming up, no more Big Ben. Call that nigga Ben now. You feel what I'm saying? Ben is stinking it the fuck up. He's missing open passes, and yes, he's still putting the numbers up, but that's because he has talent, immense talent, all over the board. That's better than everybody else's, so of course he should put numbers up. But the way Ben has been coming up lately, that's got me worried about the motherfucking Steelers. Now, my biggest surprises so far, of course, the number one is the Chiefs. Not the Chiefs and how they're winning, but the Chiefs and how they're winning dominantly and how their offense is looking so proficient under a first-year starter. He only started 1 game up until this season, and that's Patrick Mahomes. But this motherfucker looked like he Aaron Rodgers reincarnated. You feel what I'm saying? And you got to give nothing but props to Andy Reid for that. But that's one of my biggest surprises because I didn't expect them to come out the gate just so, you know what I'm saying, just hell bent on causing destruction. You feel what I'm saying? My second biggest surprise is the Redskins. I didn't think Alex Smith would be that much of a difference maker for the Redskins. And like I said, this is all a quarterly review. This shit might be totally different by the time I come back and do my mid season review. You feel what I'm saying? But right now, the Redskins looking crazy. They looking like fucking team stoppers and all that shit. They just smoked the shit out the fucking Green Bay Packers in their last game. So that right there, to me, made them one of my biggest surprises so far in the first quarter of the NFL season. Now, of the teams that have started kind of slow or not came out the gates like some of the analysts have expected and some of the fans have expected, like I'm gonna say Atlanta or maybe I don't fucking know. But of those teams that have came out a little slow, who do I feel as though can turn their fortunes around and make this season and salvage their season a little bit? I would say for me it's Atlanta. Simply because we all know the NFC South is like the NFC East in terms of it's a competitive division and they beat each other up every fucking year. So they're not out of that race simply because they know that they're going to beat each other up. Nobody's going to run away in that division. So they're always going to be in that hunt and they're there. They lost a close game to New Orleans and they lost a close game this week to and they lost a close game this past week to the Bengals. So they're right there in my eyes. Of course, I feel as though the Eagles, they're just like kind of going through the motions right now. They still trying to get over that Super Bowl hangover. In their first 4 games, they're 2-2. They're still like right there in the division, and they're head and shoulders above everybody else in the division in my eyes. So I feel as though the Eagles are hands down still the favorites in the East. So those two teams, I say the Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles, they're still in a solid position to make a great run with their seasons. Now, as far as who's on a roll right now that I think will kind of peel back to their regular form, to me, it's a no-brainer. The Miami Dolphins, man. They do this shit every year. They start off pretty good. They be like 3-1, 4-1, 4-2. Then next thing you know, the Patriots coming. Next thing you know, Tannehill get hurt. Next thing you know, fucking just everything that could go wrong with the Dolphins does go wrong. You feel what I'm saying? So I just feel as though the Dolphins eventually are going to fall back into that middle of the pack of the league, not the AFC East. And, of course, I feel as though the New England Patriots, led by Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, are going to take over that fucking crown as they usually do. So now I'm going to break down my divisions individually, and then I'm going to give y'all my power rankings, and then that's going to be it. So let me start off with the division that resides my favorite team, and that's the 49ers. That's the NFC West. The NFC West, man, the Rams, they're not just the class of the NFC West. They're the class of the league right now. Right now, the way Sean McVay is getting the most out of all the talent that he has. That's the special thing about it. These motherfuckers got 3 players with 300 yards from scrimmage already in the first quarter of the season. So that means you telling me at this pace, they're going to have 3 players that have 1,200 yards from fucking scrimmage for the season. Bruh, that right there, if you know football, you just know how astronomically retarded that is numbers-wise. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get on to my Niners. My Niners weren't living up to expectations to start off the season, even with Jimmy G. Now that Jimmy G is gone, hey, man, I'm going to be a realist. This shit is not looking good for us, for real. But I feel as though Mike Shanahan, even last year, I told people, like the Bull, he will have us in games. He will have us scoring points. But just like last year, our defense is trash. And when you ain't got that extra it factor of a quarterback like a Jimmy G that you can believe in, that can raise that play, that defense just a little bit more just because they know if they get that stop, that Jimmy G is going to make a play, then we just going to be that same team that we was last year, competing for a top pick in next year's draft. You feel what I'm saying? As far as Seattle, to me, has to be the most disappointing, sad story in the fucking league, dog. You think about 4 years ago, they were the it team. They were supposed to be the next great dynasty. They had a black quarterback. They had a fucking black running back. They had a fun hip coach. And look at them now, bruh. Just completely, utterly destroyed in a shell of themselves of what they were in their past. And in their most recent past. You feel what I'm saying? That shit is sad. And the injury to Earl Thomas was just like a cherry on the top. You feel what I'm saying? As far as Arizona, they just ass, man. As far as Josh Rosen, I don't know. I really don't tune into their games. I can't really tell you how I feel about his game so far, but I know they ass and they need to put talent around him just like they do with every quarterback in the league. Put talent around your quarterbacks, man. Now it's time for me to move on to the next division. The division that's home to my hometown team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's the NFC East. I still strongly believe that the Eagles are hands down the fucking class of the NFC East. They're not rolling how we expected them to come out rolling, but you also got to think that uh, uh, Graham is coming off an injury. Carson Wentz coming off an injury. They got a whole lot of players that they incorporated into their defense and offense. You feel what I'm saying? Alshon Jeffrey just came back last week, so they're still getting back into shape. You feel what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, for the Eagles fans, y'all should be happy that y'all do this because now y'all like the Patriots of the fucking NFC. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all might start off slow, but once y'all get it rolling towards the end of the season, whoo. Watch out, baby. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what I feel as though with the Birds. It's like once they start get rolling towards the middle of the season and they really hit that stride, they're going to be a scary-ass team. You feel what I'm saying? As far as Alex Smith with the Redskins, they might be number 2 in the division. They looking very strong right now. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they start to fall back towards the middle of the pack as the season goes along. I wouldn't be surprised by that. With the Cowboys are going to go as far as Dak takes them. You've seen in the first 4 games that every team is loading the box and daring Dak Prescott to beat them. Dak, you have to do that. Once you start fucking putting up 350, 400 yards on these niggas' asses, they gonna back right the fuck up and Zeke gonna start getting loose. You gotta start doing that shit, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Take that next leap. You can't be a game manager when they fucking loading the box. It's impossible, my guy. The Giants, I fucking hate them, bro. I hate the fucking Giants. I hate Eli. They fucking trash all them niggas. The only player I fuck with on the Giants is fucking Odell. They just garbage, bro. They the luckiest franchise in history. Fuck them niggas. And stop putting that nigga Eli in my brother Peyton class. Fuck you talking about. And he had that salty ass look on his face when Peyton won his last ring because he know he ain't getting no more. Fuck is you talking about? That was the only thing you probably was saying towards Peyton. 2 rings. Now Peyton can say 2 rings. 2 different franchises, nigga. Fuck you talking about. Now let's move on to the NFC North. It's shocking to me to say this. I did not expect to be saying this at any point during the season for the Bears, but right now they are the class of the NFC North. If you look at it, they're 3-1 right. They're 3-1 right now. Khalil Mack has a sack and a forced fumble in each of his first 4 games. If it wasn't for that great comeback by maybe the greatest skilled quarterback we've ever seen in Aaron Rodgers, they'll be a dominating 4-0. You feel what I'm saying? So you got to tip your hat to not only the Bears, their defense, them taking a leap of faith and making that trade for Khalil Mack, but also for the offense and Mitchell Trubisky and him actually finally coming through. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know if he's going to be that quarterback for the future. Chicago has never had a quarterback. Chicago never had a quarterback, so hopefully that can be that for them. As far as with Green Bay, they're always going to be there because they have the best player in the game right now. They have Aaron Rodgers. So as long as he's on the field, they're in the contest. As far as them winning division, I don't see it happening simply because they're too reliant on the arm of Aaron Rodgers. Their defense isn't that strong. Their running game isn't strong. And their receiving core is good as, you know what I'm saying, Aaron Rodgers is putting it there. You feel what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I love Randall Cobb. I like Deontay Adams. I love all them motherfuckers. But when Aaron Rodgers isn't in the lineup, them names come off the back of their jersey or something because they don't be the same players. But on to the motherfucking Vikings. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the Vikings. They went from the second best defense last year to 22nd thus far in this season. I don't know what's going to happen, but if they keep, their slow start might bite them in the ass simply because their fucking division is so stacked, especially if the Bears stay on this pace. The Lions, they just ass, man. They're all Matt Stafford. I thought Matt Stafford was overpaid when they first paid him. Then I thought he was overpaid again when they made him the highest paid player in the league. So now they got to stick with him. And honestly, I just don't think Matt Stafford is good enough to be that person that can carry a franchise. You feel what I'm saying? Now it's time to get to the most up in the air division every year. That's the NFC South. NFC South had a stretch where I think it was like a 4 or 5 year stretch where the last team went to first place every year the next season. Like, that shit was weird as shit. Like, it's the most balanced division besides the NFC East and the fucking in the league right now. But for me, y'all know I'm a Cam fan, so to me, Carolina is my favorite right now. But New Orleans is rolling like a motherfucker, and I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta start to get on a crazy win streak lately because they've been right there. So it's just a few plays here and there, probably a couple penalties because I haven't been watching their games. Maybe it's a couple penalties that be fucking them up and all that shit. So Atlanta is right there, New Orleans right there, and Carolina's right there. Tampa, we knew what Tampa was going to be simply because Ryan Fitzpatrick looked like the better quarterback of fucking Jameis Winston and Ryan Fitzpatrick. And we know what Ryan Fitzpatrick is. If Jameis Winston isn't the best quarterback on that roster, then the motherfucking Tampa Bay Bucks are going to be a 6-10, 7-9 team. I'm sorry. They're going to show you flashes here and there with Fitzpatrick, but they'll never get over that peak. And if motherfucking Jameis ain't better than Fitzpatrick, then they not even that. So as far as Tampa goes, they're kind of in the basement of that division, and I feel as though it's a 3-horse race in the NFC North. I mean, yeah, NFC South. In the NFC South between Carolina, New Orleans, and Atlanta. And I love Cam, so I'm a rock with Carolina as my favorites. Boom. Let's shift over to the AFC. Now it's time for the AFC North. AFC North, to me, so far is easily shaping up to be a 2-horse race because you got the Ravens and the Bengals at 3-1, and you got the Steelers and the Browns at 1-2-1. Now, the Browns are in every game. The Steelers, they just got smacked across their mouth by the Ravens, and we all know when it comes to the AFC North, that little rivalry right there kind of tells how that division is going to go. And when the Ravens are smacking the Steelers, then the Steelers aren't too good. Or if the Steelers are smacking the Ravens, then the Ravens aren't too good. So right now, I don't feel as though the Steelers are too good. I like the Browns. To me, they're on the upside, but they're just young. You feel what I'm saying? They're on the back of a young quarterback. They're on the back of a young leader as a wide receiver. They're on the back of a young, like, experience-wise coach. I feel as though they just need more time to grow together, and they'll be there probably within next year, honestly, like really as a contender and trying to contend for that that AFC North title. As far as who would I favor in that 2-horse race between Baltimore and Cincinnati, your mind tells you to say Baltimore. The history says Baltimore. Everything says Baltimore. The defense says Baltimore. The special team says Baltimore. I'm going to say Cincinnati simply because ever since all this shit has started, like, I'm not going to say ever since this shit has started, but ever since the Cavs beat the Warriors, it's been like a bum rush of teams getting their first, chips. The Bengals don't have a chip. They don't have a playoff win in the past 30 years. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel as though it's definitely the Bengals' time to maybe not win it all, but definitely give it over that hump of maybe winning the division and getting a couple playoff wins under their belt. Now let's move to the AFC South. AFC South is a division that I'm very familiar with because if you know me, you know when Peyton was playing for the Colts, I was a huge Peyton Manning fan. I was a huge Colts fan. I was juggling the fandism between the 49ers and the Colts at that time. So I'm very familiar with the AFC South. Right now, I feel as though it's the Jags' division to lose, even though I feel as though, like, the Titans are right there, and I love Marcus Mariota, I love Derrick Henry, I love Deion Lewis, I love motherfucking Malcolm Butler and what they've done. I love Byard, I love their team, for real. Jarrell Casey, Jonnu Smith, that motherfucker's from my hood, so that's a team that I really like and that I've been high on ever since last year. But the Jags just have too much talent. And if Blake Bortles can play well and play with confidence throughout the season, they are a scary fucking team, bruh. You feel what I'm saying? Scary team. So for me, that's kind of a 2-horse race, but I feel as though the Jags should win that, John. But I feel as though the Titans should make the playoffs just as a wild card. You feel what I'm saying? Now, as far as the Texans, I don't know what's going on with them. We're looking for the Texans of last year. We're looking for Deshaun Watson of last year. They ain't show up yet. He's shown a flash in his past game, so maybe he's about to get back on his road because he is coming off a major knee injury. That's not nothing to sneeze at. So I'm going to give the Texans some more time. I'm going to give the Colts. Fuck, I'm not giving the Colts no more time. I'm giving Andrew Luck some more time. I'm not giving the Colts no more time. They not shit, bruh. I'm sorry, but the only thing they can do fucking right is draft quarterbacks. You feel what I'm saying? They fucked up with Peyton. They should have built way more defense around him because he can make players on offense. I don't know why the fuck y'all was so hell-bent on paying motherfuckers on offense when he makes players. Y'all should have been spending that money on defense. And they doing the same thing with fucking Andrew Luck right now. They not paying the offensive line. They not paying the defense. So y'all just expecting Andrew Luck to go out there with T.Y. Hilton and put up 50 points every game. They trash. All they can do is draft quarterbacks. That's what I got for the AFC South. Now it's time for the AFC East. This division I fucking hate. I just hate the entire division. I hate the fucking Patriots. But I hate this division because they're like the exact opposite of the NFC East. Like, you know how competitive the NFC East is? Like how every team, now that the Eagles won a Super Bowl, every team has won a Super Bowl in the NFC East. Every team has won a Super Bowl in the past 20 years in the NFC East besides the Redskins. You think about the AFC East. Who the fuck has been relevant besides the Patriots in the past 20 years? Oh, the Dolphins when they had Ricky Williams and all that. Man, get the fuck with their quarterback. Like, bruh, stop that shit, man. I fucking hate the AFC East. The Dolphins look good to start off every single fucking year, just like the Patriots look mediocre to start off every year. Then when it comes to the end of the fucking year, the Patriots look like the Patriots at the end of the year, and the Dolphins look like fucking the Browns at the end of the year. Every fucking year. So, y'all know what I'm saying with this division. It may look good for the motherfucking Dolphins right now, but in my eyes, as long as Bill Belichick and Tom Brady is leading that Patriots franchise, they will win the division. Now it's time for me to go to the division that's holding my biggest disappointments and my biggest surprises. That's the AFC West. My biggest disappointment is the Raiders. My biggest surprise is the fucking Chiefs. So now let's touch on like where are we going with this? And thus far, this is the Chiefs' division to lose. They're 4-0 in this division right now. The Raiders are 1-3. The Chargers ain't shit. And the Denver just ain't got that it factor. They paid motherfucking Case Keenum, but ever since Peyton left and ever since motherfucking John Elway, they've been looking for that quarterback. And I don't think Case Keenum is it. For me personally, I feel as though that the Raiders are going to make a run, but it's not going to be enough. I feel as though the Raiders might finish like 9-7, which would be a good ending for you starting off 1-3 to finish 8-4. That would be great. You feel what I'm saying? Especially going into next year, that would be great momentum. But for me personally, it's got to be hands down the Chiefs to lose. Even though their defense isn't looking too good, the D ain't right. But if they D can catch up to their offense, that's a special team. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel as though eventually it will because Eric Berry's still out. And they got a lot of talent on their defense, not just on offense. So it's the Chiefs to lose, and it's really the Chiefs to keep growing and be better than what that division is presenting because they are better than what that division is presenting. Now it's time for the power rankings. See, I'm going to do my power rankings different than like how I guess ESPN or whoever the fuck else do they shit. You know what I mean? But I'm going to do 1 through 10, explain my 1 through 10 and why certain teams not in my 10 right now. And then I'm going to give just the whole rundown from 32 to 1. You feel what I'm saying? So let's start off with the top 10. Right now at 1, I got the Rams, of course. At 2 is the Chiefs, of course. Number 3 is the Ravens. Now 4 and 5 is where you might get the surprises. Matter of fact, throughout the rest of the 10 is where you might get the surprises because at 4, I got the Titans. Yes, I got the Titans. At 5, I got the Jags. Only reason I got the Titans ahead of the Jags right now is because they beat them. 6, I got the Bengals. I love what the Bengals are doing right now. At 7, I got New Orleans. At 8, I got Carolina. At 9, I got Chicago. At 10, I got Green Bay. Now, if you listen to my top 10, I don't have Philly in the top 10, and I don't have New England in the top 10. My reason for not having either one in the top 10 right now is because they're both 2-2 and they're both playing mediocre ball right now. Now, I expect both of those teams to be there in the future, but that's the point of doing power rankings for me personally, because I might do this every week, but so far my plan is to do this every 4 weeks. You feel what I'm saying? So the next one is going to be mid-season, then the next one is going to be 3 quarters of the season, then the last one is going to be right before the playoffs. You feel what I'm saying? So by mid-season, I expect them both to probably be in the top 5. But right now, they're not in my top 10 simply because you got to put Chicago in there. If it wasn't for the great comeback by the great Aaron Rodgers, they'd be 4-0. You got to put the Panthers in there. They lost one close game, and they're 2-1. You feel what I'm saying? They had an early bye. You got to give it to New Orleans. They lost one close game, and motherfucking Drew Brees is playing at an MVP form right now. You got to give it to the Bengals. They're dominating teams, like literally smacking teams across the mouth. Now, some of their games may end with it looking closer than it was, but they're really dominating teams. You feel what I'm saying? And to me, you got to give it to the Jags and Titans, especially the Titans, because they lost Delaney Walker in the first week. They lost Mariota in the first week. They had to bounce back from a close loss in the first week and win that second game with a backup. They backup got hurt in the third game. Marcus Mariota had to come in the third game, barely able to throw. So you got to give it to them. You got to give it to the Jags simply because they're coming back and living up to that hype that people thought they was going to have. A lot of these teams that are young and they just had 1 year of success, they don't know how to come back the next year and give you that same success. You feel what I'm saying? It feels like the Jags are on that path. As far as the Ravens, Chiefs, and Rams, like, what more do I have to speak on it when it comes to the Ravens, their past, John Harbaugh, his fucking special teams and his defense, and now they have an explosive offense with John Brown over there. Yeah, I like the Ravens. I like the Ravens a lot. As far as the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is just that upgrade that I feel as though not just the Chiefs, but Andy Reid needed. I feel as though Andy Reid's offense was always capped simply because, like, the quarterbacks that he had that were good or maybe even great, like Donovan McNabb or Alex Smith, they had ceilings. This boy Patrick Mahomes ain't got no ceiling, man. This boy slinging that shit 80 yards off his back fucking foot. Smart, mobile, coachable. He's a total package. Now the Rams, Sean McVay with Jared Goff and Todd Gurley with Brandon Cooks and that just Robert Woods. Their offense is too explosive right now, and I feel as though their defense is going to slowly but surely catch up to them. You got Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald in the middle of that defense. You can't tell me it's not no way they gonna figure that shit the fuck out. You feel what I'm saying? Now, let me give y'all just a simple rundown of my power rankings of all 32 teams. I'm going to start at 32 and go on my way down. At 32, I got Arizona. They straight garbage. Buffalo, they might have been 32, but they salvaged something with that win against the Vikings. New York Jets, I mean, everybody was hype after that first week win. They garbage. 29, I got Detroit. They ass, even though they just won a game that the Patriots always give away early in the season. 28, New York Giants. I fucking hate them faggots. They trash. 27, San Fran. I would have had us a little higher if we still had Jimmy G. But with C.J. Beathard, come on, bro. At 26, I got the Colts. Like I said, they only got Andrew Luck, and they not even trying to build around the man. 25, I got the Texans. They might climb back up. At 24, I got Pittsburgh. Ben is done. Y'all notice I ain't say Big Ben. That nigga ain't Big Ben no more. His name is Ben. At 23, I got Minnesota. I think they can climb back up, but that defense got to get right, and that's a big leap to go from 22nd to top 10. That's a big jump. 22, I got Cleveland. I feel as though they're on the up and up. They're just too young. At 21, I got Tampa. I don't know, man. Jameis just may not be it. That's just my opinion on the whole Tampa Bay situation. At 20, you got Oakland. So far, Chucky's been a disappointment, but that defense been trash, and it's a lot that's going on, but they still been in every game, so they can turn it around. Maybe not this year, but the nigga did sign a 10-year deal, so eventually they could turn it around. 19, I got Atlanta. They've been in every game that they've lost, so I feel as though they're like right there, even though they're 1-3. I feel as though they're right there. 18, I got Dallas. Dallas is going to go as far as Dak Prescott arm takes them. 17, I got the Los Angeles Chargers. The most overrated team ever. Ever. 16, I got Seattle. The saddest story in the NFL. 15, I got Denver. Denver is a special team. They just need a quarterback. Like, I really like them as an overall team. They just can't find that guy that... Call Cat. Fuck John Elway. Put your ego to the side. Call that nigga Cat, man. 14, I got Miami. Yeah, they're 3-1, blase. I don't even remember the last time I seen Miami as a significant team in the playoffs. I'm talking about a significant team. Just getting, like the Bills getting there, that wasn't significant. That was like, all right, we there. But was y'all in there to win it? Fuck no. Y'all was happy to fucking be there. 13, I got New England. Of course, like I said, by the next time I do my next review, my mid-season review, I feel as though they're going to be top 10. So don't be shocked by the oh they're, you know what I'm saying, 13. At 12, I got Washington. Alex Smith is doing good so far. I feel as though the Redskins team, they could sustain it because Alex Smith is a veteran, but then again they could fall back into the middle of the pack simply because Alex Smith he has a ceiling to his game. At 11, I got Philadelphia. I got Philly. They right on the brinks to me because the two games that they did lose were also close games. They did not lose any blowout games. They haven't, like, yeah, they've been looking suspect lately, but they ain't get smacked yet. You feel what I'm saying? And if they get on their roll and they start to get in their stride, they gonna start smacking motherfuckers. Guaranteed. You feel what I'm saying? And let me reiterate my top 10. At 10, I got Green Bay. 9, I got Chicago. 8, Panthers. 7, New Orleans. 6, Cincinnati. 5, Jacksonville. 4, Tennessee. 3, Baltimore. Number 2, Kansas City. Number 1, Los Angeles Rams. That's my power rankings for all 32 teams. So yeah, this concludes my quarterly review for the 2018 NFL season. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all got a different MVP, different defensive MVP, different coach of the year. Let me know what y'all thought about my biggest disappointments, my biggest surprises. Let me know what y'all think about my thoughts on who was going to sustain the run that they're on, and let me know what y'all think about what I thought about who was going to fall back into the middle of the pack. Just give me y'all thoughts on the whole situation. Let me know if y'all want this more on a weekly basis as opposed to the 4-week increments that I'm planning on doing it in, because I can give it to y'all weekly. And just support, chime in, give some debates. You feel what I'm saying? I love to debate. It is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? MizzyWorld NFL season review. You dig? Gang.